Hi there, how's it going? I'm here to give you a further update on my pregnancy. This time it's the 24-week pregnancy update. My name is Fiona. I'm a mom of 3, pregnant on my 4th baby, and I upload videos all about pregnancy, birth, yoga, parenting, breastfeeding. Today is just, as I say, a further update as to how the pregnancy is going. If you've been following along for a while, you'll know I am planning our 4th home birth. So, the main kind of update this time is that I did my booking visit with my home birth midwife about a week ago, and it went really well. So if you're not familiar with home birth, I suppose it's just, I'll explain a little bit. So the midwife comes to your home for all the visits. I am booked under the HSE. Well, I'm waiting for confirmation. I've sent off all the information, but I've been signed off by the consultant in my local hospital and have my midwife booked and have had the first meeting with her. So in the first meeting, there's a lot of admin. We fill in the forms that I have to send away to the HSE. Now with the HSE, the service is free. You get 10 visits in all, 5 before the birth, 5 after, and then the actual birth itself. Absolutely amazing service. So just for example, like my midwife came over and she was here for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And there's no rushing. There's no I don't know. I always get the feeling in the hospital visits, it's like you're being pushed on, kind of conveyor belt style. And there's nothing like that. It's just very relaxed. And, my kids were there. They were asking her questions. And we had a cup of tea. We chatted a little bit about my previous birth because she was there for it. She took care of me when I gave birth to my youngest son, Sal, and absolutely incredible, magical garden birth. So it was just lovely to chat a little bit about that. And he came along and he said, "You were the first person to touch me," and when he was chatting to her at the visit, and it was just lovely, real family affair. So so at the first visit, as I said, it's a lot of admin. So I've sent off those forms. It's to the DMO, domiciliary midwife officer, I think. Now I could have that slightly wrong, but each area in Ireland has one. So I think my one is like Mid Leinster. So we've sent that off and everything is fine in it. So there's no reason why I wouldn't be accepted for the home birth scheme. This will be the 4th time that I've gone through this kind of route of going through the HSE. You have to be low risk to do that, and there are certain tables to qualify you for the home birth scheme with the HSE. So that was really positive. I really enjoyed it. Was really looking forward to it, and just lovely, to get the ball rolling on that front. Now I'll meet her in another 4 weeks, and then 4 weeks after that, and then from 32 weeks, I think it's every 2 weeks, and then from 37 weeks, it's once a week, something like that. It's similar to if you're going through the hospital route. And she does then all the normal tests like urine, blood pressure, and then checks the baby's heartbeat, which is lovely because the kids were all around. I had my little 4-year-old, like he was at my shoulder minding me, so sweet. And the other 2 were there as well, and like really involved in asking questions, and got to hear their brother or sister's heartbeat, which was just really special. So I really love the visits. I think especially when you have other kids and they can be involved, because they're completely separated from the hospital system. They're not invited, like they're not allowed in, basically. I think it's always been that way, even pre-COVID. So it really means that it's a family affair. Like it's about all of us. So really nice. And I just got her to ask her as well a few little questions that I had, which is always lovely. Like even if they seem silly, your midwife is just more than happy to answer any little niggly questions you might have. So that was great. So really positive, really excited and delighted. Looking forward to getting the confirmation, as I say, from the HSE. But there's no reason why I wouldn't. So that should be fine. So how I've been doing apart from that, I suppose, physically I've been feeling really good, enjoying the sunshine. I suppose not really suffering, but having to accommodate a little bit because of the heat. We've had some really hot days. So I actually got a pool, like a kind of a deep pool for the garden, and I've been just hanging out in that in the really hot days. It's been great. I can't swim really in it, but I can just kind of, like float in it. I always float, like holding onto the kind of the bar at the side, and like with my belly facing downwards. So it's a good position for the baby. It feels really good. I can keep my head up. It's really, really, really light. Like I don't have any weight in the water. Like it's lovely. And yeah, like, so I suppose then using a fan, trying to stay cool, is huge during the heat wave. But I have really enjoyed, I love the sun. So I don't feel like I'm suffering, because I suppose I'm only 24 weeks. I'd say if I was 38 weeks, I would be really suffering with the heat. But yeah, so just making little tweaks, lifestyle tweaks to stay cool. Physically, I'm feeling really well. I'm making a conscious effort to stay active. So I'm teaching yoga once a week, and I'm really enjoying that, and like sharing the journey with the other mums on the course. I'm doing little bits of yoga here and there in between, not full like hour long, sessions, but 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whenever I feel I need to, or like need to kind of, a certain area of my body. Now I'm feeling a lot in the hips at the moment, so I've been kind of focusing on that, and I actually uploaded a video on that, so you might like to take a look at that. And then as well as that, I've been walking. Like this past week I walked 3 times, which is amazing, like proper brisk walks. And my older kids were in a summer camp, so that kind of freed me up a little bit, and I put the youngest in a buggy and went walking with my mom, and it was lovely. And also went for a swim on my own in the pool one of the days, like in the local pool. So it's just fabulous. So really focusing on making sure I get that physical movement in. Now that I'm feeling good, it's the second trimester, it's the perfect time to kind of keep up my fitness. I always feel better, it's good for the baby, it's good for me. And yeah, so focusing on that, and then also focusing on my nutrition, because I know how important it is. So I have been making smoothies. I got kefir grains from a friend, so I've been having kefir, so for all that really good probiotics for the gut. Have been like focusing on eating loads of fresh vegetables. The polytunnel is like abundant with, lettuce and tomatoes, and so having loads of salads, and then eating oily fish twice a week, so sardines or mackerel or tuna. Not very often tuna because, for the mercury, but they're really good quality. So yeah, I'm really focusing on that and enjoying it, because I love food and I love healthy food, and especially when you can just go out, pick your own, it's just amazing. I have been feeling quite a bit of heartburn, and I'm just dealing with that. I'm not taking anything for it. I'm dealing with that in certain ways. So for example, I'm not eating after dinner. So once I've had my dinner, I don't eat then until the next morning. I'm fine with it. Like I don't feel hungry at night. Like I would have, obviously in the first trimester, different. I would have been eating all like very regularly, even at night. But now that I'm feeling this heartburn, I'm cutting down on like evening snacks. So eating a good meal, like 6 or 7 p.m. and then nothing until the next morning. And that's really helping with the heartburn. Just paying attention to what is giving me the heartburn, but mostly I notice it at night. So that's why if I, cut down on the snacking at night, really find it really helps. The other thing, I've had a little bit of constipation. Again, I had it in the first trimester, dealt with it, got through it. I suppose I'm just paying more attention to my foods. I'm eating chia seeds, so I get the whole chia seeds and I mix them with, milk or water, and let them set overnight, and then eat it as like a pudding. Just small amounts, but daily, so that I'm trying to kind of make sure that I don't get constipated. It can just happen in pregnancy. I suppose there's so many different changes going on, hormones, and and upping my water intake as well. So the smoothies, and then lots and lots of water all the time. So it's fine. I like water, so I don't mind. And with the heat and everything, you really need it. It's probably maybe coincided with that, the constipation. but so far I haven't need to take anything. I am also, as well as my prenatal vitamin, I am taking magnesium, which is really good for constipation. I found out recently, so and really really safe for pregnancy. So I take that about 2 hours before bed, and it actually really helps with sleep and stress and stuff like that as well. So yeah, like I think anything that I'm feeling, I'm finding a way through it. Naturally, either through nutrition or movement, or working out what works for me. And I've kind of done that in all the pregnancies, and I can always ring my midwife if I have a question. Thankfully, I have some friends who are nutritional therapists, so that really helps. So I always like bugging them with questions as well. And yeah, like I think that all the years of teaching pregnancy yoga, like so many things have come up. And I've helped different moms find, solutions to issues that they're having in pregnancy. And I think it's really important. Like if you're pregnant at the moment and you're feeling an ache somewhere, or you're like some kind of, like maybe heartburn or constipation or something, there are ways through it. You can, of course, take medication. But I always find that I try to work around it in different ways, because the medication doesn't always treat the underlying reason why you might have it, and then it's just a case of then you continue for the rest, taking that medication for the rest of your pregnancy, which you might be okay with. But I always like to find the root cause and work at it through that, in that way. But there is usually a solution to most of the pregnancy ailments that you have. It's just often when you go to your appointment, like in a medical setting, they just will say, that's normal, that's something that happens in pregnancy, and that's it. Like, but you don't have to suffer through it. And I think it's really important to find solutions that work for you. It could be going to see an osteopath, it could be going to see a nutritional therapist, or finding out through someone else. Sometimes even just the shared chat, something that worked for somebody might work for someone else as well. Going to see women's health physio, or going to like the physio in your local maternity hospital. Like there are lots of different options for you. Sometimes you just have to ask, and oftentimes there are waiting lists. So it's best to ask early and not kind of wait until it gets too bad, Really in a good place, feeling loads of movement. Was at the cinema, and literally the baby was going mad from all the noise, So that's always really reassuring. I feel really positive, really excited, and yeah, just really enjoying this second trimester, because I know it is the kind of the break between the first and the third. So all is well, and really happy. So if you have any questions, just put them down in the comments. As I say, I did that yoga for the hips sequence. If there's something in particular you want me to focus on, I'm going to continue with that series of yoga for pregnancy. Might do lower back and a few other areas that are really nice to focus on. But yeah, so that's all. I'm just going to show you a little view of my bump now. I think the growth has kind of slowed down in that I popped very early, and yeah, so it's a grand size now, and really happy. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with the next pregnancy update or yoga sequence. Take care for now. Bye bye.